Welcome up, Flyers. I've been exclusively using the Switch Lite pretty much since it released. There were a couple gripes I had with the system, but it wasn't worth buying an entirely new Switch because of it. Obviously, something caught my eye when a Switch OLED was announced, and after a lot of time with both systems, I have a lot to say.
Opening up the OLED, we've got everything wrapped nicely. The box is in a vertical position instead of the traditional horizontal layout Nintendo goes for, making it oddly feel slightly smaller. It comes with the Switch wrapped up nicely next to the beautiful white Joy-Cons. Deeper into the box we have the power and HDMI cables, useless plastic, slightly less useless plastic, and the dock. It honestly feels a bit overwhelming at first, but you know right from the beginning that the $350 you spent was well worth it. The Switch Lite, yeah, it didn't really have much going for it. The box is extremely tiny with not much content in it, making the $200 you spent feel a little hollow in comparison. But you're buying a Nintendo device. The build quality on both of these systems is top notch. The Lite has this very nice plastic finish on it with a great 5.5 inch screen and tactile buttons. On the other side, the OLED has a full metal build with a super nice kickstand, front facing speakers, glass panel, and an absolutely beautiful 7-inch OLED display. For those of you who don't know what an OLED panel actually is, every pixel on the screen is an individual light. What this means is that you can get extremely nice looking colors, perfect blacks, and better viewing angles for when friends are around. It really does make a difference, and upgrading from that 6.2 inch display of the original model is immediately noticeable. What's also noticeable is the dock itself. With the console itself being an upgrade in every way, I argue the dock is a substantial downgrade. The little plastic piece back here is flimsy, there's no rubber feet so it constantly slides around, and the thing weighs barely anything, which means I need to hold the dock in place after taking my Switch out. And the system is heavy. It shouldn't be this difficult to undock. Playing docked is still fun, nothing really changed outside of the Ethernet cable. You can bring around a couple friends, play on the TV, and then play on the go when you leave. It's super convenient. But the Switch Lite is missing this feature, which honestly makes this system a little harder to recommend. It doesn't even fit into the dock, so I can't just leave it there to charge. It's upsetting. I even tried this camera trick someone did at one point to quote-unquote dock the thing. It just didn't work. Don't even bother with it. Playing in tabletop mode is also the same story, except the Switch Lite can at least play in tabletop mode. At least with the right equipment. I don't recommend it because it gets expensive quickly, like OLED level expensive. But if you want that option, it at least exists. Obviously, because of the Joy-Cons and larger screen, the OLED has a better tabletop option due to convenience. But you will find me dead in the grave before I admit that the Switch Lite wasn't a good tabletop console. It's what I use the most, and by far, the fact that it was only me playing most of the time made the screen not much of an issue, and honestly feels more like I'm not desperate for attention when I'm out in public. And handheld for each system? Yeah, the Lite easily wins in this department. I can tell you now that if you're mostly going to be a handheld gamer, you can click off this video and just buy a Lite. Unless you already have one, then keep it. Because honestly, I have had a miserable time with the OLED and handheld. It's passable, but the thing weighs so much, is very large, and can get a bit clunky when you're using the touchscreen. I always play tabletop no matter the situation because it physically hurts to play handheld. The Lite is much easier to use, but still isn't very comfortable. There's grips you can buy from companies like Satisfy which fix this issue, but then it doesn't really feel as portable as before. I've used both systems pretty extensively so far. The OLED I've had a lot less screen time on, but the amount of games I've been playing has gone up significantly. The screen is nicer, battery life is amazing, and the speakers are loud enough for most situations, an issue that I found myself in often with the Lite. It really depends on the situation I'm in. As to which console I'd bring, most of the time it's going to be my OLED now. But now that I'm actually using both systems frequently, I've had this odd desire to purchase more games on Switch. And not like buying a bunch of Nintendo games because I need something to play. No, I mean everyday games. Before I'd play a game like Dark Souls on my Xbox One because it's Dark Souls on a handheld, that's dumb. Or Borderlands on my PS4 because who would play that on a Switch Lite? But now the appeal of playing these games, taking them on the go, and then picking up where I was gives the system a new light that I haven't really seen in a system before. I mean, yeah, games won't look as good, but I find that the convenience outweighs the graphics at this point. It's a feeling I never felt with my Switch Lite because I had a distinct feeling of handheld only or TV only games. They never really mixed well together. I'm mainly saying this because using both systems together isn't the most ideal experience. If you plan on upgrading, but still using the Lite as a handheld console, you'll need Wi-Fi wherever you go for digital games, and automatic cloud saves aren't a thing. At least to my knowledge. For a handheld system, needing Wi-Fi wherever I go to play these games isn't fun and makes bringing it to school or my dad's pretty much the only options here. I only find it useful when I don't want to pack such a big system. I didn't know this going into it because I thought it'd be like every other game console I played. You turn on the PS4, play a game, go to your other system, and then boom, there's the rest of your stuff. But with a handheld system, a Nintendo system, something you want backed up at all times so you can pick up and play on your family of systems, they can't get a two-system setup to work well. So what should you get? Should you upgrade? Is the Switch Lite even worth it at the end of the day? Or is the OLED worth grabbing instead? Honestly, it's up to you. If you are just getting into Nintendo games for the first time, want to taste at a better handheld experience, or are somewhat on a tighter budget, go for the Lite. But if you are going to want the TV functionality, want the bigger panel, or plan on playing with friends and family most of the time, I'd recommend sticking with the OLED. For the extra $50, it makes almost 0 sense not to buy an over the standard system. The build quality, screen, speakers, and the battery life make it almost pointless not to spend the extra money.
It's hard to say which one I prefer though. Like, I like the Lite for handheld and the occasional tabletop, but the OLED is built nicer and can be docked. But the Lite can be easily packed and is surprisingly small. But the OLED can let me pick up my experiences a lot easier. It's hard to say which one is the better device because, honestly, at the end of the day, they're both the better device. It just depends on how you take advantage of their unique qualities.